What up everyone, it's your man XManny87 here, bringing you my first ever Savage Crucible video, and what I have for you today is the Harbinger Studios Savage Crucible Como of the Isles action figure review. Before we get into everything, if you could please leave a thumbs up, like rating on the video, it'll help show your support for my channel and I greatly appreciate it. Big thanks to the folks over at Harbinger Studios for sending this figure my way so that I can showcase it to my awesomely dedicated viewers. I'm not contractually obligated to leave a review free of criticism. I told you guys before, I've turned down sponsorships in the past many times because I had to adhere towards some company requirements for influencer access. I don't want to be held back, and I always want to give my real thoughts. So I respect that, as they leave themselves vulnerable towards any kind of criticism, but also have faith in their products for good word of mouth. I'm positive they'll listen to the community feedback and course correct wherever they may need. So, will this line survive or will it take a dive? Let's find out, and let's go! Alright, so this is the first time I'm taking a look at this line in hand. I'm going to take out my measuring tape here. It's a 7-inch scale line, and this is an interesting line. It's got that fantasy vibe, which, you know, with fantasy, I'm a big fan of fantasy. It depends on the fantasy. Like Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, not my kind of fantasy. He-Man, World of Warcraft, oh yeah, that's my jam. I love He-Man. I grew up a big He-Man fan, especially with that whole like barbaric. If it has like anything, you know, with barbarians, I love that. And that's the kind of vibe I get here. It's like a merman. That's a barbarian. It's so cool. And while he's a merman fish type character, after reading his bio, he's not your typical fish type character because he roams the isles, the volcanic isles. As you can see, he's a fish character sporting like magma-like armor, which is freaking awesome. So, you know, mixing a character that has an element of water and fire, it's freaking cool. I like that a lot. And before I go into anything further, speaking of fantasy, I like that they included a card here, and on the back it has some statistics. So it looks like they're doing like this card playing game, like I guess like a Magic the Gathering, that kind of, you know, that kind of game, and I dig it. I think that's going to be cool. That will further enhance the community experience, and yeah, this is really dope. I like where they're going with this. And let's take a look at the head sculpt right here. Stunning work. This is beautiful. This sculpt goes hard, man. Look at the eyes. It's painted nicely, and I like the skin pattern. You see there, you're going to see a lot of that blue pattern throughout the figure. But yeah, the mix of colors here on this figure is absolutely beautiful. And you can see the armored pieces right here. He's got these shoulder pads, you know, these pauldrons right here, and then the shoulder pads. And what's cool about them is they're on a peg, which they are removable, but they shift. So you could lay them down like this, resting on his shoulder, or if you want to give him a more bulkier look, you can raise them like that, and that still looks really good to me. On the side, you might, you know, notice it's gonna look a little weird, but you know, for photos and such, I think that would work. But I prefer them laying. Great texturing all throughout. Again, more of that blue skin pattern. It looks absolutely beautiful. I love the yeah, I love the nice combination of skin tones we get here. You get a dark shade, you get a light shade, and it's just stunning. Look at the teeth right here on the shoulder pauldrons. You'll see it on the gauntlets as well. And these are it's pliable here. It's kind of soft here, but it's sharp right here. So there's some areas where it's sharp, especially right here on the shin guards. Yeah, that's sharp, but you know, overall some great quality plastic. Bro, look at the molten rocks that they sculpted out here. Are these molten rocks or spikes? It looks like a combination of both, because I see some spikes in there too. That's nice. Damn, that looks so good. His hands, that looks nice. I like the claws. It's painted beautifully. This armor skirt piece is nice and pliable, so it's not going to hinder any movement. He's got black trunks right there, and you can see some tears sculpted right above his tail, and he does have a tail. So it's not bendy or anything. It does have a hinge, so you can move it up and down. And okay, that doesn't look right. Let me move that back. And then it is pinless. So as you can see, got pinless knees and elbows. But the interesting thing about these joints, right, is like, okay, you heard of pinless, but there's no hinge. So it's like hingeless, you know? It looks really nice. So when you bend it, you know, it keeps that smooth skin just flowing over. I mean, the hinges are visible at the knees, so I would say it's hingeless at the elbows. And one thing about the knees on the back, the hinges, there's some paint rub on that. Rather than, you know, save paint, not paint the hinges, you know, because then you're going to get that look and it looks bad. I don't like to see, you know, paint scratches on my figures. But yeah, this is beautifully detailed, man. And shout out to Nikki Nicole Customs. She's the one that did the paint job for this figure, and I think she does many others in the line. I'm not sure if she is the head painter for the entire line, but her work is just absolutely stellar. And they did sculpt the feet. I do like how they actually sculpt the feet so that it looks like an actual foot. I think the one thing I love the most about the skin details is that some of the bumps have this sort of like glossy finish to it. It's not everywhere. There's like a mix of gloss and matte, and it makes it look like the figure is like wet, like he just came out of the water, and he definitely has like this moisty look to him. And I like it. I feel like it adds some realism to the figure. Now for accessories, he comes with this flask. Nice paint work right there. And it does have a peg there so you could plug it into his belt. He has two holes. One there and one there. So you could plug it in wherever you like. As you can see, it sticks there. And also, if you want him holding it too, you can just put it in one of his open hands so he can hold it. And he also comes with a sword, this spiky looking axe, two gripping hands with a vertical hinge to hold his weapons. And this looks great. Look at this sword. The details on this, great. You see some like symbols right there on the blade. You get some wear and tear on the sword. You get some green paint in there too. But look at the hilt. It's nicely detailed. I like the little skull right there. That's cool. Damn, even the hilt, there's a lot of details on it. And as you can see, this spiky looking axe has those like that magma pattern right there, molten rocks. It's nice, really, really nice. This is super sharp too, by the way. It'll serve as a good back scratcher. So the details on these weapons are just as good as the details on the figure. Sadly, there's no storage for his weapons at all, so you just have to be creative with it. What I did was I just slid the sword right here in between the shoulder pads, and you can create your storage that way. So again, it's fun to be creative, but it would have been nice to have some storage options for these weapons. Now for articulation, his head looks about that far up. I wish he got more movement. If I push a little further, it's on a ball joint. And that's about it. And he looks that far down, not bad. Left, right, and he does have some nice head tilting. Not much, but it's there. His arms move up about that far up, which is good. Higher than a straight T-pose. You want that. And it moves down, you know, you can swing him around. He does have butterfly joints, so the butterfly joints are kind of weird because you don't get much back. As you can see, there's a hinge right there. You don't get much back, but you get more forward, and when you stick them out like that, I don't like, there's like this tab that's visible, and I'm just like, what the hell is that? Like, I don't know, it doesn't feel like it's supposed to tab. I don't know, I don't like this empty space that I'm seeing here, and it starts making this area look a little blocky. The forward movement is good for double wielding poses for your sword. That's gonna come in handy, and you might want to block that with the pauldrons right here. No, it's not gonna look good, actually. What am I talking about? It's naturally supposed to look here. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that look whatsoever. But nonetheless, you'll still get some good range there. You're gonna get a bicep swivel, and like I pointed out before, you get a hingeless elbow. It is a single joint, so you don't get a full 90 degrees. And then you got his hands, wrist swivel, wrist hinge, and you got the torso. It's a double diaphragm joint. Now this is great. I love a good double diaphragm joint. It's a double ball peg at the waist, and that's what I need in a figure. The diaphragm is the most important piece of articulation for me when it comes to posing. Without this, you're not going to capture, the desired poses you want in a figure. Look at that pivoting. Damn, that's great. And it rocks all around. I love that. And you got his legs that can spread that far apart. Like I said, the skirt piece doesn't hinder anything. Does he have drop down? Oh, I forgot. He doesn't have drop down legs. Yeah. Not that it's needed. Legs kick up about that far, so get good range. And that far back. So you won't get a full frontward split, nor a full traditional split. Actually, what am I talking about? Yeah, I just didn't utilize it. He feels very sturdy. The joints are nice. I didn't have to heat this figure up at all. Like, he was good to go out of the package. So I don't have to worry about anything breaking, really, because the joints just feel great. It feels good to have a good action figure in hand. And like I said, the tail has a hinge that's up and down. It also swivels, so you'll get that. Thigh swivel, double jointed knees, and no heel to the butt. But, you get some decent range right there. You do get, it's kind of a calf swivel. You get like a calf and a knee swivel, really. So you do have that to work with. You do get an ankle swivel as well. You got the ankles that move up and down with a hinge. They do rock nicely, so it has a nice pivoting. And you have the toe joints right there. Now with the feet, this is my biggest gripe, is that he is very difficult to stand. And you guys know me. You guys follow my work. You guys know my posing game is always on point. And I had some challenges with posing this guy and keeping him standing. And as you can see right here, got him in a basic stance. But you see how he's like toppling over a bit. All right, now he's standing. But even when I have him stand... See, I think it's something wrong with the ankle hinges. Okay, so I got him standing straight here. But even if I move him a little bit, like, I don't know, he's not really top heavy to me. I just think the hinge is a little weak on the ankles. And they're not loose by any means. I don't want you to think I have loose ankles. As you can see, you could tell on camera if it's loose. But it just doesn't make sense to me because, look, the ankles, the hinge, are ratchet. So it's not holding the click. Normally with the ratchet joints, you would hear a click and it would hold. It's not really holding. And it was just strange to me because I'm like, come on, man. I pose Marvel Legends with high heels. No problem. And maybe sculpting the feet has something to do with it. The soles of the feet, too. Well, no, not really, because I had figures where they sculpt the entire feet, and it's no problem to pose. You're just going to have to find some sweet spots, Even when I try to put them in fancy posing, the toe hinge, it's not really useful for me. And, figures necessarily don't need a toe hinge, I feel like not every figure needs it. Like for Spider-Man, I feel like Spider-Man needs it. And there's just certain characters that just need it. I don't know, man. I had him posing with weapons and even without the weapons to avoid some weight off the ankles and off the feet. And I'm just like, man, what is going on? Like, I'm enjoying the figure, don't get me wrong. Okay, I got it to hold. There we go. You can see his foot is flat to the surface. I got it there. But many instances where I was trying several poses, it wasn't holding. It would just fall and fall and fall, even with the most basic posing. And I was just like, what the hell is going on? But, it's really about finding the sweet spot. And it might take you a while to find that sweet spot. Like, it was for me. But if me or anyone for that matter is gonna spend $40 on a figure, because that's what these guys were going for, it was a Kickstarter. You want that figure to stand. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want to spend $40 on a figure that can't stand. It's just gonna fall on the shelf. You can't rely on it. They don't come with bases, so you might have to find something to keep it supported and not topple over your shelves. So just keep that in mind. Hopefully they'll improve the ankle and feet area sometime down the line, because stability is key. And if we could have that stability, and not having to worry about a figure falling on our shelves, or if we're setting up, toy photography, things like that, it's definitely gonna make for a more positive experience. But the presentation of this figure is just stunning. The armored parts are interchangeable. The only thing is I don't have another Savage Crucible figure to demonstrate with it. I don't want to sound greedy, but I kind of wish they sent me an extra one just to demonstrate it on video and, see how it looks with mixed match parts. The kit bashing stuff is fun. I love doing that. So it's kind of like with Mythic Legions, the parts are universal across the figures in the line. Now, to compare him to some other lines, here is Como next to a Mythic Legion skeleton. I know these will be a good mix-up for those who will collect both of these lines. Here he is next to a McFarlane Toys Spawn, as the scale matches up for 7-inch figures. Here he is next to some military lines. We have the G.I. Joe Classified Series Shadow Tracker, and my favorite Action Force figure, Warpath Eclipse. And lastly, here he is next to some Marvel Legends. I wanted to compare him to a regular size figure and a bath, so I pulled out the Lizard and the Gamerverse Abomination bath. And now to wrap things up, my final rating is a 7.75 out of 10. I think this is going to be a very good line, as this is a very good figure. And for a company that previously dabbled in 3D printing and now delving into a full-fledged action figure line, it's beyond impressive for a first impression. Yeah, there are some things in terms of articulation that I'm not a fan of, like the gappy butterfly joints on the back, the feet area, which, by the way, before recording this wrap-up, I went ahead and watched some other reviews just to see if it was a common or uncommon thing, because this is a new line and we are all testing the waters here, but I'm glad I'm not the only one who thinks it's a weak point, as pointed out by others. As firm as the ankles are, the ratcheted hinges fail to hold position to keep the figure's weight stabilized. Anyways, this figure is powered up by its crafty sculpt and masterful painting. They went all out with the textures, paint, and details. The details are on another level. The accessories follow up with staying on that same level of detailing. I'm not gonna lie, for $40 to $50, which is an estimate of what this line costs, it would have been nice to get an extra set of hands like fist and an extra head. I felt an angry expression was needed. The line is called Savage Crucible, so I want to see the savagery. The price point is going to be hard for me to invest in. I can't go all in. Not that I can't afford it, but my wallet can only go so far, as there's just so much to collect. But I might pick up some here and there. I have to collect by my means, so where does this fit into my collection? Great thing about new IPs such as this is seeing where can they fit into my other collections. I don't need to be attached to a certain IP to like or enjoy a good figure. Most of my viewers are Marvel Legends enthusiasts, and that's my bread and butter on my channel. So with the upcoming Marvel Legends Zabu Build-A-Figure wave, having him and Kazar with the Savage Land theme going, I can use this Como of the Isles figure as a Savage Land roamer. That's the great thing about these fantasy mythos-based figures. You don't have to go by their story bio. You can use your own imagination and make your own story. So I love world building, and with this being an interchangeable line, it's going to be fun for that reason. Army building, creating your own characters, etc., etc. I didn't back the initial Kickstarter, even though I had my eye on them. I never pulled the trigger, but I loved what I saw from them. Especially that Royal Guard, that articulated ninja just reviewed. I want that one. That has a lot more going on. I rated this in the 7s. It could have been higher, but I felt in the 7s range was fair, which is a good rating. Remember how I score things, guys. I feel like a $50 figure with no extra head, fists, gappy butterfly joints, and being hard to stand is not going to get anything past an 8. But if you don't care for articulation and accessories like I do, and you are all about the sculpted details and paint, which makes it higher than an 8 for you, then that's totally fine and fairly acceptable. I like a combination of all those things. Get what you want. I never tell anyone what to buy or what not to buy. I just try to be informative as possible so that you can formulate that decision on your own. I will tell you this much, I'm having a lot of fun just doing free-handed poses, taking him wherever I go, whether I'm relaxing on my bed or the couch, on my counter or dinner table, which my wife hates, or on my car dashboard. He's been my pocket figure this week. Warning, he will poke the hell out of your leg with them sharp ass parts. Again, having a lot of fun with this, and that's what matters the most to me. Now I kick it back to you. What do you think of this new Savage Crucible line? Did you back it? If not, will you be picking some up? Where would you fit this in with other collections you already have? Comment below, let me know, we'll chat about it. Thanks for watching another review. Please follow me on Instagram if you haven't already at xmanny87. Hit the notification bell so you always know when my latest videos are up. Share and subscribe if you're new. See you on the next review. Peace.